Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a discussion on resumes. My name is Bob Boyd. I'm a lecturer and Director of School of Business Interns. And this discussion is prepared in August 2019. Question that people ask, why are you doing this presentation? Well, the School of Business wants you to be successful. We want you to find an internship. We want you to have a job right out of college. We want you to be successful over a long period of time. Students have been successful in obtaining internships and jobs following the approach outlined in this video. So some of the things we're talking about do work. We've seen evidence of that. Resumes are evolving, and there's no definitive best way to construct a resume. They are, however, many wrong ways. So we want to make sure in this presentation you know what works and what doesn't. Many of our employers have commented on the variation they have seen on resumes from Geneseo. Resumes from amazing, can't believe it, to, oh my, this is really bad. We'd like all students to have an amazing resume that gets them an internship and a job and develops their career fully. So, first question is, you do a resume. Well, what do you hope to achieve with it? One is you want a response from the recipient to discuss your qualifications further. And I want you to stop and think about that. What do you hope to achieve? Because when you're writing something, you're trying to be persuasive and get somebody to do something. So you got to stop and think, what's the outcome you are looking for? You have less than a minute or a millisecond if it's read by a computer to make your point. So why would a firm want to talk to you further? You have the skills they're looking for. You have success in what you've done in the past. You have something unique to offer. That's why they'd call you back. So your resume should cover those things. It should not, will not include everything you've ever done. That's a curriculum vitae. A resume is to get a callback, so it doesn't have to include everything. It should be focused on skills and accomplishments relative to the job you are seeking. Don't assume that because you did one job that it doesn't have any bearing on everything else. Because as you'll see as we go forward, there's a lot of things that are embedded in what I'll call work skills, how you work. Well, how do you do it? Construct a resume to do that. Well, the first thing, the number one reason, and you're going to see some repetition here because I'm trying to make a few points, is the firm sees that you have the education and experience and skills that they're looking for. So the first step is to find out what the employer is looking for. If you know what skills they're looking for, you can better prepare your resume and build your skill base for the future. So you need to do some research at this point. Start with the job posting or position. Be specific. You're going to always focus on some really high level ones that everybody wants. Don't necessarily want that. As we keep going, isn't every firm the same? People have asked me. If you focus on skills at a very high level, yes, they do. But if you look deeper, they're different, and they want a different set of skills, something more detailed. The firms do not think they are alike. If they think they were alike, we wouldn't have the competition that we do today. Focus your resume on what the company wants, not what you have, but what they want to show them what you have. You need to be able to distinguish yourself from others while demonstrating you have the skills and experience. Not telling, demonstrating. Does that make sense, hopefully? You want to contact. You want to talk further. Many times, your resume is reviewed electronically, and they program in through artificial intelligence to look for specific skills. They look at your writing. Sometimes artificial intelligence can interpret your writing and interpret what you wrote to determine if it's what they're looking for, but do they understand it? Summary so far, customization of one. No such thing as a simple resume that suits all purposes. Your resume is going to have a basic structure but it should be tailored to what a firm is looking for. Your resume needs constant updating, adjustments, and fine-tuning. You don't want to just add in what you did this summer and with everything else. You want to go back and actually think it through. This is a marketing piece, a sales piece. Let's now go on to some basics. First one, a resume should be 1 page, full stop. Never go below that. No exceptions at this point in your life, ever. Once you get 15, 20 years of experience, maybe you can think about 2 pages, but not before. Make use of the entire page. You want it to look nice on a page. Dates should be all right side margined, aligned with the item they relate to. Adjust margins as needed. We don't want to see no margins. You want to have a little bit it's clear, easy to read. You'd never use I, me, we, or they. Pronouns are out. Other basics. 1 font throughout. Proportional fonts. Consider Arial or other sans serif. These are the more current, more modern type fonts that are used. No colors. Okay, we'll talk about portfolios in skills, but right now, no colors. Avoid underlining, italics. A lot of them, when we're machine read, don't come across. They come across as gibberish. Use bold, but only when needed. Spacing should be consistent and allow for smooth read. Spelling and grammar are critical. There can't be a single mistake. You can't. You got to read it and read it and read it. And have other people read it. Print it out and read it. More basics. Don't have an objective. Old school. That goes in your cover letter. No relevant coursework. Everybody's taking the same thing. If you have a degree in accounting, everybody's taking the same thing. You got a finance minor, everybody took the same thing. You got a degree in marketing, everybody took. Unless you have a specific project you work on that demonstrates a skill, you don't call it relevant course experience. We'll talk about that in experience. Adjectives need to be used cautiously. Okay, you can use them and you should, but be cautious about them. Don't try to quantitate them or evaluate them without evidence. The evidence will do that. More when we get to experiences. Show, don't tell. You're going to hear that. Always save as a PDF and send as a PDF. Okay? We're going to talk about the next 2 pieces, our resume format and sections. First one is identification and contact information. What do you need? Name, email, cell, and a hyperlink to your LinkedIn profile. You don't need a physical address. Okay? Your name should be in a little bold. It should be a little higher type. Okay? Use a non-Geneseo email. Is that when you graduate, you no longer have your Geneseo email. So that's step 1, identification and contact information. Next is education, but I call it credentialing. This is where you're establishing your credentials. I would still call this education, but what it attempts to do is your formal education, your degrees held or expected, any licenses you may hold, not your driver's license, certifications you may have, professional memberships you may have, and your fluency. If your language is more than English, and I mean fluent, that you can carry on a discussion, it goes under credentialing. Okay? Let's take a look a little bit more on credentialing. Education. Your education goes on top. Right after your contact information, bullet is, or header, education. Don't put stuff in about high school or community college. Those things got you into college in Geneseo. At this point forward, focus on your bachelor's degree and higher. Rarely would you want to incorporate information about colleges attended prior to Geneseo. If you did, you should reach out to me and we can talk about how to include that in an appropriate way. Later in life, and that's if you're coming back for your master's, the highest degree first. So you'd start, master's degree would go before the bachelor's degree. Keeping going, an example, and first one, the State University of New York College at Geneseo. That's who will issue your diploma, the State University of New York College at Geneseo. The School of Business is AACSB accredited. Not all schools are, distinguishing you. Next, you put in the degree to award and you spell out Bachelor of Science in, minor in, if you have one, anticipated graduation date. Okay? And then your GPA. Yeah, you got to put your GPA in no matter what it is. Okay? Here's a few examples that I have here, and I'll just give you a second to read through them. And this PowerPoint is posted, so you can go look at it. So if you can see, there's some level of consistency, but it gives you a sample. This is what yours should look like. Okay? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. This is what worked. This is what employers are looking for. This is getting you the check mark. Yep, you got this. Additional information if you're an accounting major. Accounting firms want to know when you're going to be 150-hour ready. You can do that by earning 150 credits during your undergraduate career. You could earn a master's of some sorts after a 120 credit hour bachelor. See your advisor, or you can talk to me, but that's what they're looking for. They want to know when you're going to be ready. So put it on your resume. It should be as follows: 150 credit hour ready, August of 2022. That's how you handle that if you're in accounting. It's a few other things as you're going along. GPA, don't skip it. They will assume it's really worse than probably what it is. Only academic information goes in the education section. Do not include the gold certificate, workshops, memberships in professional attorneys, and you don't need to put in honors. So if you tell me your average is 3.9, you don't need to tell me you're on the dean's list. Okay? You want to keep it very focused. What's the message you're trying to get across? If you have a Bloomberg certification or advanced Excel certification, you put it here. And if you have a finance minor, you have to have a Bloomberg certification. If you studied abroad, include the information below your degree awarding institution, what the name is, what you studied, and if it was in another language. Something like this: study abroad, St. Andrews University, Scotland, fall of 2018. Language skills. Language is very important. Being multilingual is a major benefit, and we can list it with education under one condition. You must actually be fluent in both. Okay? But put it in. Completing the language requirement for your degree does not make you multilingual. Okay? It creates an awareness. So you put that in. If you have a professional license, like if you have a New York State real estate license, Series 6 and 63, New York State health and life insurance, you put that up top. It's a license. Demonstrating professional interest. Now this is one that there's options here. Accounting students should all be members of either the student members of the AICPA or New York State Society. Both have student memberships and provide a lot of access to many career resources. I encourage you to take advantage of the resources. Student member of the New York State Society of Certified Public Accountants is how you do that. Finance students, I said, should be Bloomberg certified, Bloomberg Essential Certification, month and year. Marketing students should be student members of the American Marketing Association. Human resources should be student members of the Society of Human Resources Management. Students interested in logistics and supply chain should be members of that management society. So you want to demonstrate professional interest. Why? Something to put on your resume? No. Don't put it on if you do it just because I told you to. If that's it, leave it off. Because a firm, if they see it, will say, professional interest. However, if you can't talk about it, you're going to look really foolish. You need to be able to articulate why you joined. Learn what the profession does. How do you know you want to go in that field? Emerging issues. What's going on in the field today? Networking. You can get a mentor. You can be invited to different events. Understand what skills needed. What are the career opportunities? They all have career sites for college students. So as long as you're doing it for these reasons and actually do it, put it on. If not, take it off. Put it on only when you can say these things. To include on education section, degree information, 150 hour ready for accounting, study abroad if you have it, language if you're fluent, licensing if any, certifications, professional memberships. Stop. At this point, I want you to open up a new Word document and start creating your resume. Use a blank Word document. My experience is if you try to take something you've done in the past and fix it, it doesn't come across as smooth. It comes across as like a document that you tried to add things to. So start over. Don't use a template because then you're constrained. Build the following now: your contact information, your education. Okay? So once you've done that, start with part 2.